Hello, one and all. My name is Ryan Bruce. My friends call me Fluff. And today on Riffs, Beards, and Gear, we are going to check out the all-new MIKKO2 plugin from ML Sound Lab. Now, along with all of the advances in sonic quality with all of the guitar amp sims that have come out in the last 2, 3, 4 years, you also get a lot of cool things happening in the guitar cab impulse response arena. And at the front of that entire pile, in my opinion, is the new MIKKO2 plugin from ML Sound Lab. Now, before we go any further, I'm an ML Sound Lab artist. I have 2 of my own plugins, and Mikko has asked me to show you guys this plugin. However, all thoughts and opinions are still mine. So traditionally, if you wanted to use an impulse response that you found and that you really liked, you either loaded it onto hardware like a Fractal Axe-Fx, Torpedo Live, something like that, or you loaded it within your respective guitar amp sim plugin in the CABS section. But lately, a lot of dedicated plugins to do just that for whatever you want have been coming out. And today we're going to check out the MIKKO2, which is the second edition, the latest version of ML Sound Lab's MIKKO cabinet plugin. So this is what MIKKO2 looks like. I'm going to let you hear what I did with it in the context of a mix in just a second, but I wanted to give you kind of a visual cue as to what to expect with the MIKKO2 plugin. On the left, we have our virtual speaker. Now, right now I have 3 different microphones, but you can add up to 9 microphones on a single speaker, and you can have them all phase correct. You can have some of them not phase correct. You can mess with the individual microphones phase, as well as have access to up to 38 different cabinets within the plugin if you get the full unlocked version. But if you choose not to do that, you can get a limited free version using Mikko's very well-known oversized 412 cabinet. Free. That's the key takeaway there. Now, we will dive into this a little bit more in just a second, but currently, here is the sounds that I got from the MIKKO2 plugin. Now, the signal chain that you are hearing is my Mesa Boogie Mark IV just off camera, and I am going direct into my computer with no cab sim, so it sounds terrible without any sort of cab sim on it. I recorded that direct amp sound, and then I put MIKKO2 on the track as a plugin instance. And this is what I came up with. All right, so let's talk about what I am using for this instance. I'm going to solo one of the guitar tracks, and I'm going to center pan it so you guys can hear it correctly. And this is the guitar tone with which I ended up with. Single tone up the center. Now, with the Mesa Boogie Mark IV, there's a lot of mid-range information that I liked for the context of this riff, especially the second half of the tune where I go an octave below C sharp, and it was just imperative that I had all the mid-range information there, because when you go that low, you tend to lose a lot of definition and you just get a lot of flub. So this is the patch that I came up with I'm using 3 different mics and a couple of different guitar cabinets. And I'm just going to systematically kind of show you what I am using. First, I'm using the 421, the Sennheiser 421. I'm using it off axis, and I'm using that on a Bogner 412 91 greenback cab, or green cab is the model number that, or the model that MIKKO has it listed as. Next, I'm throwing in an SM57 with a Bogner 412 Ubershaw cab with vintage 30s. And next, I am using a 421, or a 121, excuse me, on a Bogner 412 Uber T75. This combination I was just playing with, and it sounded good. I wanted that kind of 57-esque kind of clonk that was going to give me a lot of attack, but I didn't want it to be too like attacky in the top end, right? We're stacking a lot of things, and so we got to the speaker part. Right here is the EQ bounce section, which we will get to in just a second. And down below, for each individual mic, I can click on each individual mic. I have my settings and parameters for that microphone, okay? So for example, my 421, I have angle, tilt, distance, and cap edge. And I have those controls for every mic that I throw onto the speaker. So I can move it with the knobs like this. I have tilt, I have distance, or I can simply just click on the microphone and I can drag it where I want it. It is really up to you how you want to do it. However, note that the mix is basically your level of the individual microphone. So you will see in the EQ balance, this EQ curve is what the final IR or cab impulse ends up being. So you can see as I turn it down, it's going to dynamically change. All right, so let's hear that. I'm going to go back to my preset, which is my Real Amp 2. And I'm going to play it again. I'm just going to mess with some knobs to let you hear what's actually happening. Now, in relation to all of these, if I want to if I'm hearing something that I just want to manually kind of tweak it, these are individual EQ points on the actual EQ balance graph itself, meaning as if I was using a FabFilter Pro Q3, I can grab any of these points and I can just EQ the final sound of the IR. Here we go. Now, why would I want to do this? Well, this is going to actually save me a lot of time in my post EQ situation if I am in my DAW trying to get my guitars to kind of fit how I think they should in the context of a mix. I can do that right within the context of this plugin, but even more so, I can now export this IR by simply hitting the Export IR button, and I can capture and export this impulse for use with anything. My Fractal, my Helix, my guitar amp sim plugin of choice, whatever you want. That also means no one else has this particular IR but you and your own custom impulse response. How cool is that? I am unaware of any other plugin that does this specifically, where you can go right in to the resulting EQ curve and kind of tweak around. But yeah, MIKKO2 has allowed us to be just exporting our IRs all day long, and I love it. Now let's say I wanted to add another mic to the situation. I would simply hit this plus button, and here is my fourth mic, and I can come down here, and let's say I wanted a ribbon 184. I'm gonna turn the volume all the way down, and I'm gonna slowly bring it in to hear what it's doing. So now, if I feel like that's in the ballpark, I'm going to just come over here to my EQ balance, and I'm gonna add just a little bit more top end because I like where everything else is sitting. Rather than move the mic closer to the center and introduce some fizziness, I'm just gonna tweak it right here on the EQ. That sounds pretty good. At this point, I can go ahead and export my IR, and I can choose the sample rate and the bit depth and the channels to export. If I'm in mono, this is going to be the left channel. If it's a stereo instance, it's going to be left and right. How cool is that? All right, so what do I think? As cab plugins go, this is a game changer for me personally because the ability to EQ and sonically tweak right on the fly the sound of the cabinet is something I'm not used to. Typically, like we all do, we just kind of sit there and scroll through either the IRs or the mic models to kind of find what we're kind of hearing in our head. You don't have to do that with MIKKO2. You just you grab an EQ point and you tweak away and you export and you're done. You got your own custom impulse response. Oh, what a time to be alive. I will link down below in the description for more info on the MIKKO2 plugin. And with that, you've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.